John Wayne was born Marion Robert Morrison on May 26, 1907, in Winterset, Iowa. Even his birth was remarkable. He weighed 13 pounds, an unusual enough fact that the local newspaper reported it. From that very first moment, he seemed destined to be larger than life. At just 3 years old, he nearly died after falling into an icy creek, only to be saved by a passing stranger. That early brush with death seemed to set the tone for the kind of resilient, larger-than-life figure he would grow into. His name changed early on when his parents had another son and decided to name the baby Robert, forcing a switch of Marion's middle name to Mitchell. Later, when the family moved to Glendale, California after his father's business failed, young Marion earned the nickname Duke from local firefighters who noticed he was always accompanied by his Airedale Terrier, also named Duke. The boy liked the name, and it stayed with him. Growing up, Marion loved football and earned a scholarship to the University of Southern California in 1925, studying pre-law and joining a fraternity. His dreams were shattered, however, when a body surf injury damaged his shoulder and cost him the scholarship. It seemed like a devastating dead end, but it turned out to be the door that led him to everything. After losing his scholarship, he found work at Fox Studios in 1927 as a prop man, earning $35 a week. It wasn't glamorous, but it put him in the right rooms. Director John Ford noticed something in him during those early years and encouraged him, even suggesting he adopt a stronger name. After some consideration, they settled on John Wayne, a name that would eventually become synonymous with American cinema itself. The early years were brutal. Between 1930 and 1939, Wayne appeared in over 80 low-budget westerns, sometimes shooting an entire film in just 2 days. He barely made enough to eat, often surviving on a single can of beans heated on a hot plate. By 1938, he was so beaten down by failure that he seriously considered walking away from acting altogether. Then came Stagecoach in 1939, and everything changed. The studio had wanted a bigger name for the lead role, but director John Ford fought hard for Wayne, threatening to walk off the project if the studio didn't agree. Wayne played the Ringo Kid, an outlaw with a fierce moral code, and his very first scene became iconic, a camera zooming into his face as he held a rifle. It took 27 takes because Wayne was so nervous, but the result was magic. The film earned 7 Academy Award nominations, made Wayne a star overnight, and paid him just $3,700 for the privilege. His partnership with John Ford lasted over 50 years and produced 14 films together. Ford was notoriously hard on Wayne, publicly humiliating him on sets and forcing him to redo simple scenes over and over. On the set of The Searchers in 1956, Ford made him pick up a gun 17 times in front of the entire crew. Wayne never pushed back. He believed Ford's harshness drew out his best work, and history seems to agree. The Searchers is now widely considered one of the greatest films ever made, even though it received no Oscar recognition at the time. Wayne's first Oscar nomination came in 1949 for Sands of Iwo Jima, a film he initially resisted because he felt the role was too similar to others he had already played. The studio president had to personally convince him with a massive financial offer. The film used real combat footage from the actual Battle of Iwo Jima, and the battle scenes were so authentic that audiences couldn't tell what was staged and what was real. One explosion knocked Wayne unconscious for 30 minutes during filming. Despite the powerful performance, he lost the Oscar to Broderick Crawford, an actor who had won in a film Wayne himself had turned down, believing it to be unpatriotic. His passion project, The Alamo in 1960, nearly ruined him financially. He had wanted to make the film for 15 years and ended up mortgaging his house, his cars, and his boat to fund it. The production cost $12 million. Wayne insisted on building a full-scale replica of the Alamo in Texas using over 1.5 million adobe bricks, with historically accurate details down to the nails. They used 7,000 extras, 1,500 horses, and filmed for 79 days in heat that sometimes hit 110 degrees. Critics were mixed, and the box office fell short of covering costs. Wayne wasn't even nominated for Best Director, which stung deeply. The Oscar he had always deserved finally came in 1970 for True Grit, where he played Rooster Cogburn, a one-eyed, overweight U.S. Marshal. He had almost turned it down, worried he was too old. Filming took place in Colorado, where the altitude and cold battered his already fragile health, forcing him to use an oxygen tank between scenes. He tore a muscle in his shoulder after his horse stumbled on a steep hill, but kept going. His acceptance speech became legendary. He told the audience that if he'd known an eye patch was all it took, he would have put one on 35 years earlier. He had the flu that night, but refused to miss the ceremony. Wayne's personal life was just as dramatic as his films. His first marriage to Josephine Saenz in 1933 fell apart after years of absence, and a secret affair with actress Marlene Dietrich that began in 1938 and lasted nearly a decade. His second marriage to Esperanza Bauer in 1946 was chaotic and dangerous. Esperanza was intensely jealous and once grabbed a gun and tried to shoot him when he came home late from a party. No one was hurt, but the marriage was beyond saving and ended in 1954. His third marriage to Pilar Palli that same year appeared more stable, lasting until his death, though the couple separated in 1973. Wayne lived his final years with his secretary Pat Stacey, who was 34 years younger than him and became his devoted partner and caregiver. After his death, she wrote a book revealing a softer, more vulnerable side of Wayne that the public had never seen. In 1964, doctors delivered the news that would follow Wayne for the rest of his life: lung cancer, the result of smoking up to 6 packs of cigarettes a day for years. Surgeons removed his left lung and 2 ribs in a procedure with only a 50% survival rate. Against all odds, he made it through. Rather than hide his diagnosis, Wayne went public with it and became one of the earliest Hollywood figures to openly advocate for cancer awareness and research. He even gave the disease a nickname, the Big C, to strip away some of its terror. Cancer returned in 1979 in the form of stomach cancer, and this time there was no fighting it off. Even from his hospital bed, he continued recording messages urging people to fund cancer research, telling the public they might find a cure without your help, but he wouldn't bet his life on it. His final film, The Shootist in 1976, was about an aging gunfighter dying of cancer. It felt less like acting and more like autobiography. He refused to change the character's death to show him being shot in the back, insisting it contradicted every role he had ever played. He died on June 11, 1979, at UCLA Medical Center, surrounded by family. President Jimmy Carter called him bigger than life and a true American hero. Thousands of fans gathered outside to leave flowers and cowboy hats. Orange County Airport was renamed in his honor.